The summer's on, and I've been living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. Been waiting all year to be here, to ride the wave of the water frontier. The ocean's warm and the tunes are chill. We'll stand here till we get our fill. We're working hard and we're playing hard too. We're gonna do what we gotta do. Time to go big or go home. And I ain't going home, 'cause summer's on. And I'll be living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. 'Cause summer's on. The ocean's underneath my feet. And if the sun is out, I'll ride the waves all day. Everything we've ever wanted's right here. Don't wanna blink just to fight the fear that our time will pass way too fast. And I'll be dreaming of the beach another year. We're gonna have the time of our lives. Days and nights with the sun in our eyes. And a wild tide under bluest skies, tearing up the shoreline. 'Cause summer's on, and I'll be living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. 'Cause summer's on. The ocean's underneath my feet. And if the sun is out, I'll ride the waves all day. We're gonna ride away. The summer's on, and I'll be living on the beach. The summer's on, and I'll be living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. 'Cause summer's on, the ocean's underneath my feet. And if the sun is out, I'll ride the waves all day.
Gonna unmute all of us real fast before I forget.
Ah,
Good plan.
Good plan. It's a solid strat. You know, it's a bold strategy. We'll see how it pays off. You know.
yeah.
So welcome once again to Sand and Shadow, our homebrew D&D campaign set in the Desert Kingdom of Abu Kanasta. We are on episode 30. I almost said 23. Episode 33, guys. I'm still ever
23 was like a while ago.
It was a while ago. Yeah, it was 10 episodes ago. I'm still impressed every day that we got past episode 10. Like like I am still forever impressed that we managed to get through episode 10. But yeah, without further ado, just to recap for everybody here, we have our four lovely investigators, our intrepid investigators here. Starting from the left, we have the wonderful, well, left for you guys, right for me. But starting from my right, we have the wonderful not underscore mafia underscore.
Hello. Welcome to the video game. I play Violet, the warlock rogue zombie who's just finally realizing, wait a minute, I can learn about my past if I look things up about myself.
If I do the research, surely, surely there's something wonderful. Next, we have the wonderful Wailing Frog.
I am the frog that is wailing, and I play Millennia, the fighter barbarian, who is just kind of here and going along with whatever happens.
I love that. Next, we have the wonderful Miss Lumi.
Hi everyone. Oh, is my mic working?
Your mic's
Yes,
working
it is.
now.
Yeah, it sounds good.
All right. Hello everyone. My name is Lumi and I play Whisper, the chaotic wild magic sorcerer. I'm just chaotic. That's it.
Yeah, she's full gremlin energy. And of course, last but certainly not least, the amazing Rune Phantom.
Hey, what up, everybody? I am so ready for what's going to happen next. I cannot wait.
hmm Just a bit of
Yeah, we've got some fun stuff in Blasphatan.
yeah. Just a little heads up for everybody here, both chat and my players. Once again, we talked about it earlier. I will be stepping away for roughly about 20-30 minutes. Some time during our session here. So we'll be going on a brief break, but then we'll be coming back as soon as I get back. I just have to take care of something, and I realized the time constraints were not in my favor, but I didn't want to stop us from playing. So it's just easier for me to do the campaign, and then we just move on. So where we last left off, you guys had returned from Thieves' Respite to the city of Blasphatan with the aid of Kassar, your sort of shadowy, friendly lizard guy, info broker, who you've had multiple dealings with throughout the campaign. He was able to create a portal for you to come back to Blasphatan after you aided him at Thieves' Respite with his business. You each sort of went your separate ways to kind of go and, I guess, effectively reset yourselves after your journeys here, after your journeys from the Feywild. Squorb and Millennia went to the newly refurbished Blasphatan branch of the Skada Aldin headquarters. You learned that it was recently reinforced with all sorts of metal augmentations, as well as building the structure to be much more sturdier and bigger to accommodate all of the branches, or at least all of the companies of the Skada Aldin. And you had discovered that some of the changes were just not what you had expected or to your liking for the most part, at least from Scorb's perspective. You discovered that your Leonin friend, Officer Lee, now has become the company commander of the 6th Company, which is your company, Scorb, the Sunhawks, as it were. Due to the fact that your previous commanding officer has still been reported missing and has not been found, so he took up that position. And then you recently found out that you haven't officially accepted the position yet, but you have unofficially been promoted to captain of the Skada Aldin within your company. You were able to give Serena Silt's comatose body to the Skada Aldin for medical examination and also for security reasons, and you were also able to hand in the member of the Cult of Golion over to your team in order to kind of get more information out of them should the need arise. But in that time, you were kind of left to your own devices afterwards, and Lee has given you the freedom to continue pursuing the case that you were working on with the authority of an officer, but without having to assume the title. Meanwhile, the two ladies, Ember and Whisper, went out shopping in the open bazaar to figure out what to get her new pet, Bobbit, the land shark, who I still regret. Things like food and potentially a saddle, mostly food. We ended up having to do a whole math thing about food. So we ended up calculating that it was a lot more money than she was willing to pay for, so she called on her mommy and daddy for money. And then we brought so you learned a few things from your Fey royal heritage. You learned that your betrothed or your beau to be was a member of the Court of Winter, and that as
Court of Autumn, I thought.
Hmm?
Court of Autumn, I thought.
Was it? It might have been the Court of, it might have been the Court of Autumn. I actually have
I think it was autumn.
I literally
Yeah, I
have my
remember
notes.
being
My,
Autumn.
my notes are so scrambled right now. I hadn't had time to organize them this past week, so it might have been autumn. So if it's autumn, awesome. If it's winter, still awesome. But the court of a court of the Feywild. You're one of your bows to be at this point. Decided as an apology gift, they sent over 500 goblins because they were not able to meet you when you had returned to the Feywild at that time. And then your mother and father were able to send over the necessary funds, thanks to a temporary magic circle that they created to send one of the goblins over to you and bring you back and give you the money you needed, as well as I believe I left a package of some sort with you as well. I believe there was a present inside of it.
It was a message from
Yes, it was a message from
Their
your
siblings.
Yes, from your other 7 siblings. So, and then we didn't really do much beyond that. We you paid for the food, and then I realized that you guys don't have a bag of holding or a
Hole.
or a hole. Yeah, so I was like, oh, interesting. I thought I had given, yeah, so that's an oversight on my part. I legitimately thought you guys had already had one, but you guys have been so well at maintaining light gear that it really wasn't an issue. And then the last thing we did before we left for the evening was that Violet had gone back to the Royal Archives and did some research to discover, or at least in an attempt to discover who she might have been prior to her resurrection. She used the large lectern to search for missing persons cases, and then from there she narrowed down her search to finding mercenaries who had letters starting with the letter V, but nothing seemed to make sense. And then inevitably she narrowed it down further to, to a set period of time within that had the occupation of mercenaries who happened to be human, that were either missing or were reported dead. And so she narrowed it down, and then 2 names stuck out to her. I have to pull them up because I got rid of them when I was taking care of notes and cleaning up my desktop, so wonderful for me. One Hannah Dawn Forest and one Penny Torvak were the 2 names that stuck out to her. And then that is where we last left off. So I am going to start right back here at the Royal Archives. Violet, seeing these 2 names, they sound familiar. There's something about them sounds familiar or feels familiar. You said you wrote them down, but was there anything else you were going to do about these names beyond that?
Not in the library.
Okay. So where would you like to go next?
I want to find a new informant who's not Kassar.
Okay. Simple enough. It's more or less like, who do you want to trust, I guess is the best way to put it. Like,
Yeah, I want someone who is like completely out of left field, not interacting with like anything so far in the story. Like the main thing is like I do not want them to be connected at all to Dead End Labor.
interesting. I'm gonna have you roll an investigation check to see if you can gather information to figure out, is there somebody who isn't connected to Dead End Labor in terms of like info broker work.
Yeah. Oh, come on, D&D Beyond. Ruh-roh.
It was doing this to me yesterday too, so I understand.
There it goes. Reloading the page did it. That's an unnatural 20.
Wow. Yeah, okay, 17 plus 3 is 20, yeah. Okay. So in a city of informants, it's not hard to find anybody who can just say they picked up information here and there. There aren't too many people who are connected to Dead End Labor in terms of like, like, hey, I know a bit of information about Dead End Labor. That's about the extent of their knowledge, but they don't know any.
Mhm.
But they're not like directly working with them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, what you do, however, note is that there is a potential info broker, and they tend to sit in the open air bazaar. And they have a small little shop just like right in the fountain square. Um, but you don't know their name. You just know what they look like, and that's what you were told to look for. You're looking for you were looking for a half elven woman. She has locks of orange hair, and she also happens to be lightly tanned, most likely due to the desert sun beating down on her. You'll recognize her just by her obtuse hair color, because it's not a common hair color here in Abu Kanasta.
Right. Yeah, I guess I'll find her.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me just a perception check.
I'm not the best at those. Never mind. I'm actually really good at those. That's another unnatural 20.
Another dirty 20. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, easily enough. She really does stand out. As you make your way through around to the open air bazaar, you see a bright beam of light sort of shoot up in some part of the street. And then a bunch of people just gasping and oohing and awing before like 30 seconds later that beam of light shows up again, and then everybody just sort of like is agape before they all disperse back into their normal routine. But you do, because of that crowd kind of like mingling around that one source of light, you are able to suss out who you're looking for. Yes, you see this very tall, like she's maybe about 5'7", 6'2". It's kind of hard to gauge based on the distance that you're standing right now, but she's somewhere around that tall, half elvish woman. She has these long braids of orange hair. Her tawny skin is lit up amongst the sunlight, and she seems to be wearing a very simple cloth, but you can tell that she's wearing something underneath that sort of stiffens her movement. You can assume it's most likely armor that's hiding underneath her clothes.
Hey, buddy.
Hmm.
You gotta go potty.
I will walk up to her and say, hello, friend. Have you heard of any trouble recently?
She perks up and she looks at you. How tall is Violet, by the way?
5'2", 5'4".
So she's a little bit on the shorter side.
Yeah, slightly.
Okay, yeah. So this half elvish woman, she looks down, she perks up, and then she looks around before she looks down, and she notices you. You notice that she's actually not that much taller than you. Now that you're like face to face with her, she's maybe about 5'7", 5'8". But she looks down and she goes, "Oh, well, hello. Well, there's trouble brewing everywhere. May I ask what trouble you're looking to learn?"
Uh, I would, in a more like a hushed tone, this is like in it. Okay. Question.
Answer.
I've invited her to talk in Thieves' Cant. Has she accepted?
Describe your thieves' camp.
So Thieves' Cant, generally, the way I've read about it, it starts with like the first interaction is like, hello, friend, and then they either respond with like, "Yes, you are my friend, even though we've never met," or "Who? What the fuck are you talking about?" And accepting is saying, "Yes, hello, friend." Uh,
Okay, so you're using the verbal cues
Yeah.
of Thieves' Cant. Okay.
Basically.
Okay, because I was wondering if you were also adding hand gestures or things of that nature to sort of try to like skew the conversation your way.
No.
I regretfully don't remember all of the Thieves' Cant verbiage, so
I can send you
I have
a
it.
PDF I
No,
found.
no, I have it. Because I use it for my All Thieves campaign on Tuesdays,
Yeah,
but I just personally do not remember because I use more of the hand signs and symbology.
right. Well, I currently have it up and
No, it's fine.
ready to go.
It is fine. She responds to you. She's trying to make it sound like it's a normal conversation, but instead of responding to you using the verbiage, she responds to you using hand gestures that look like she's talking with like exaggerated hand motions. Um, and then she goes, "Why don't we sit down and have a drink, and then we can talk about your day." Um,
Of course.
so she will guide you into a back alley, and and then she looks around real fast, and then she goes, "Okay, we should be able to speak more plainly here."
Uh-huh.
Before she like, you see a small little orb of light appear in her fingertips, and then she kisses her fingertips, and then you feel this wave of magic sort of encompass you. Um, this is a familiar magic. It's been used before, around other thieves, around the people who are more like thieves around the city. It's sort of like a modified silence spell.
Mm,
So what it does is that it doesn't silence those inside; it silences those outside.
right. It doesn't let
It doesn't let
sound go
sound
out.
outside of the bubble.
Right.
So, so the floor is yours.
Right. So I have two names that I would like you to look into. They're, from what I understand, they've been missing for a couple years now. So it's really more I'd like you to find out everything you can about um, their lives when they were alive or were not missing, uh, and any possibility of leads you might find on them. And I'll hand her the paper with both the names written on it.
She takes the paper and she looks over the names real fast. Um, and then she folds the paper in half with one hand before she tucks it in her bosom. And then she goes, "How soon do you need this?"
I would prefer as soon as possible for personal reasons, but there's no real urgency to it.
All right. And how much do you need?
Uh, as much as you can find.
I'll see what I can do. Uh, let's say 25 up front, and then we'll figure out the rest of the payments once the job is done.
Sounds good.
All right. And she sticks her hand out for the payment for her upfront cost.
Yes, so 25 gold.
Yes, 25 gold.
That
upfront.
is easy. So I'll hand that over to her.
All right. So she takes the coins, and then she tucks it away in her little coin satchel, and then she hands you a card, and then she says, when the card glows, then meet me at that location.
Got it.
And then she snaps her fingers, and then you feel the silencing bubble sort of recede back towards her before she makes her way back to the plaza, or back to the fountain square.
All right. That's everything I wanted to do for now on this.
Okay.
So I'm happy to meet up with other people.
Yeah. Actually,
this
as
point.
as you exit out of the alley, you do see Visper, who is with Ember, currently trying to carry more food than they can reasonably carry.
Oh, what the hell?
They have a lot of food, a lot of dried meats.
Okay. Well, I guess I can help them out.
We're gonna divvy up
Hmm.
the workload amongst 3 women. This is gonna be great.
Violet has a 14 strength. I can carry more than both of them
Oh, I
combined.
know you can. That's why it's funny. So, moving through the city once more, we return back to the Skada Aldine headquarters, where we find Millennia and Squarb discussing their options. They stand. I believe we left you guys at the medical ward on the second floor, or we
let's
left you,
see,
or we left you just after you left Commander Lee's office.
That's where we left. That's
Yes.
where we left. Probably heading to Scorb's new office because he had a note from his wingmates. I also think Scorb is still gone.
I believe.
Yeah, he said BRB,
Yeah, I
but
believe he
hasn't
still
returned yet.
Hasn't returned yet. But yeah. But in this time, just for some context, as you guys are walking down the hallway, towards Scorb's office, you notice that there's a lot of foot traffic in between the halls. Different divisions of Skada Aldine are kind of moving around. Different symbols are flying about. Millennia, you wouldn't make too much sense of what the symbology of the Skada Aldine units are, but if you would like, you can roll an insight to see like what all the hubbub is about.
Yeah, sure. 14.
14. It seems like a lot of these individuals are moving with the intent of like so they're obviously hurrying about, right?
Right.
There isn't so much a sense of panic as there is so much a sense of concern. Like
Oh.
like something has been reported and a lot of people now have to mobilize.
Oh, perfect time. Scorb's back. So there's something going on, Scorb.
Oh,
Yeah, Scorb, if you want to roll an insight with advantage,
yes, please.
yeah, go ahead and do that.
Real quick, because my dog had to go potty and took his sweet time. What are we inciting?
You are inciting the movements of the various Skada Aldine members that have passed by you in the hallways.
That's a 21.
Jeepers! Great! Wow, everybody's rolling
Better
well
than
today.
14.
Yeah. So Scorb, you understand that when the Skada Aldine mobilize at the foot pace that these members have been moving, it usually means that something was reported and now a whole lot of people have to be mobilized.
Oh, we need to be moving then and go check out whatever this is.
Yeah. They all seem to be reporting. They all seem to be meeting out into the training yard, and that's where you see a bunch of as you look out the window, you see a bunch of them are members of the first company, the Jackals, and as they are suiting up and getting into formation. But you also see members of the sixth company, your company, mounting up on their Sunhawks. You see a couple members of the third company. There's like for every like platoon of Jackals, there's like 3 third company members, which are, as you recall, are the medical officers.
Mm-hmm.
So for like every group of like 20 soldiers, there's 3 medical officers on site for that team. And then for every one of those, there is at least 2 Sunhawk riders for that platoon. So you have like a small regiment of soldiers getting ready to deploy out for something.
I really don't love that. So do I recognize who's in charge here? Like whoever's in, like the quartermaster or whatever, who's like helping everybody get organized for deployment?
It's more like a group of quartermasters. For context, so for people who might be confused, just to reiterate, the Skadar Aldin are a military police. They are the first and foremost the military force of Abu Kanasta, but they are also the police force of Abu Kanasta. So sometimes they'll do police work, but they are first and foremost soldiers. Um, uh, and then, oh, thank you, Mitsuki, for the hydrate redeem. Appreciate it, and for the stretch redeem. I was actually getting thirsty, so it works out. And then I need to grab my coaster.
Can't be leaving rings on the table.
Or else a girl will come and crawl through your TV and kill you.
Wood?
Yeah, it'll be my girl.
Talking about my girl.
No, straight up, my wife cannot stand a whole lot more than, or a whole lot less than leaving, like just not
Stain
using
rings.
coasters.
Yeah, no. I became adamant about using coasters ever since I discovered I had them. So yeah, I have coasters. So I use them all the time. So the quartermasters are more like a small group of like people that you don't really recognize them because you never really had to go to them really. You've always been very self-sufficient with your own gear. Is there something that you wanted to do when you were going down to the quartermasters, or?
Oh, no, I just want to find out who's in charge of organizing this deployment and find out what the fuck this is.
Ah, I see. In that case, as you go back out, as you head outside, you will see. Roll a history check.
Okay. 1 second. Ah, straight dice. That's 4.
Ooh.
4. Okay. I don't believe you've ever personally seen this individual.
That tracks.
But you do recognize their emblem on their armor. It is the symbol of the it is a symbol of the jackals, right? But it's much more ornate. And what it shows is that next to so correction. So he still bears the symbol of the jackals, but it's just much more ornate. So it denotes that he's got a high rank. And then next to the symbol of the jackals, you see the symbol of you see an emblem of a dog's skull with flames behind it and 2 kopeshes crossing it, sort of like a skull and crossbones, but with a dog's skull.
Yeah, I got you.
And
Pretty cool.
And I would say if you want, I'll give you advantage on this roll. I will treat this as a goodness. What is a good indicator for this particular symbolism? It wouldn't be religion because it's not technically a religious thing. I'll give you either insight or this is still technically a history check, but you have advantage on it. But I'm going to say you can substitute your history check with either your insight or investigation roll.
I'll do investigation just because that's on character.
Okay.
There we go. That is a 19.
That symbol is iconic for you. That is the symbol of the Hellhound of the Skada Aldin, aka the commander of the first company.
Oh dear.
That is Company Commander Kano, who stands in front of all of the Skada Aldin who are waiting for deployment in the training yard.
Huh.
So so to put things into perspective in terms of like history, he is quote unquote the de facto military leader for the Skada Aldin, though he does not take that title. Like he personally hates that title.
Huh. All right. Well, here's hoping I don't cock this up.
Good luck. You got this.
I'm sorry, what did you say his title was again, Commander?
He's company commander of the first company of the Skada Aldin.
Okay.
His name is Company Commander Kano.
Cool. I had heard his name, I just missed the rank. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Anywho, so Squarb's gonna approach Company commander, a quick question if you got the moment.
And he looks over at you. He has these steely red eyes, like that have been scarred. His face has been scarred over from years of battle. He stands about as tall as you do, Squarb. When he is standing
Just
upright.
short.
Yeah, you're just short. But he stands about as tall as you do while he's slouching, and then when he realizes that he is slouching, he straightens up his body, and he suddenly grows like 5 inches. And you're just
like me in real life.
yeah, so like you in real life, like when you hunch over and then suddenly you stand up and you're like, oh right, I'm tall. But like he stands up and you can hear the shifting of his armor ever so slightly. He's wearing like medium stylized armor. Like it's not impeding his movement too much, but there's enough protection in all the vital areas to allow him to move. And then you notice that he has on him a spear that's slung on his back, and then his 2 Khopesh sit on either side of his hips. But as he stands upright, he turns to face you, and he goes, "Speak plainly, officer."
I apologize for my impertinence. I've just arrived back from a long-term assignment and wanted to ask, what is this deployment for?
We've just gotten new information on where the Order of the Desert Wind is, so we're deploying.
Oh, shit. That was out of character. Sorry, I need to double-check my notes real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit!
That one was in character.
Oh, those guys, the ones who took responsibility for blowing up my home base.
Yes.
Shit. My gosh.
Take note. I back.
I apologize. Again, been gone a while. I was here for their original assault on our base. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get all William Shatner on everybody.
It's been like 30 some odd episodes. I don't blame anybody for not remembering these guys.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I had to double check my notes because I remembered writing that down. Squarb looks at the commander with surprise. We've found them?
Potentially. So we have new information that reports that we may have found their base of operations. We're sending a small detachment right now to assess the situation. We'll call for backup as needed.
I would like for myself and my wingmates to join that detachment if it hasn't already left.
What's your name, officer?
Squarb Featherfowl, sir.
And he looks down and he sees
Commander.
and he looks down and he sees your symbol and he goes, "You're with the 6th?"
Yes, sir.
And I assume your wingmates are also members of the 6th.
Yes, sir. By the names Persephone and Menage.
And he looks over and he goes, "Lieutenant!" And you see one of the jackals is rushing over. He's got a clipboard in his hand. He's decked out in the full jackal armor, and his shield is slung onto his in his arm. He goes, yes, Commander. Let me see that list." And he shakily hands it to him, and he looks inside of it, and then he flips over the pages till he gets to the 6th page, and as he scrolls down the list of names, he goes, "It seems that those 2 are already deployed out."
All right. If I may substitute them with something a bit unorthodox, I've been traveling with some allies for a little while, and their assistance has proven invaluable, especially in regards to these folks and their attachment to... I apologize. I'm, again, a little frazzled. The long and short is that I believe that damn it, their name slipped my head. The Desert Winds may be attached to the larger incident that my team and I are currently investigating.
He flips the pages back and he hands it over back to his lieutenant.
If you're not familiar, my contingency and I are currently investigating the cult of Golion and their attempts to destroy everything, for lack of better phrasing. That's their stated goal. they've been responsible for the kidnapping and releasing of Genasi children as essentially living bombs, and I have solid reason to believe that the Order of the Desert Winds is tied to them.
I see. And have you reported this to your commanding officer?
Yes, Commander Lee is already familiar with the bulk of my investigation.
Good. And has he given you leave to join us in our detachment?
Not as such, no.
Then I suggest
I've-
you get his approval before we depart. We ship out in 30.
I will do what I can. Melly, you good with this?
I mean, we got nothing better to do.
We do. I just actually before I go, Commander. Sorry. What was his full title? Was
It's just
something
company
Commander.
commander.
There we go. Excuse me. Before I leave to speak with Commander Lee. May I ask you one more question, Company Commander?
Speak.
Where is it that you're about to deploy to? Is we have a location in the mountains we need to investigate, and I was wondering if this happened to coincide with the deployment.
And he goes, Lieutenant, map. And the lieutenant is shuffling through his pouch right now before he pulls out a map of Abu Kanasta, and Commander Kano and his lieutenant walk you over to his miniature war table, as it were. He spreads the map out, places paperweights to lay it flat, and he points to a circle off to the west of the desert, near the border, near the mountain border. And he goes, "We'll be deploying right here in a small alcove or a small canyon, just east of the mountains. This is where we're suspecting to find the Order of the Desert Wind. We don't know much, but that's the topography we're working with."
And then, just in Squarb's own head, does that look close to the area that we need to be investigating to see if we can find Serena's heart?
It's the general direction, but it's not like exactly where it is. Like
But it's like on the way.
it's a little bit towards the way, yes. Like so they are planning to, this operation is set in a canyon just off to the east of the mountains, where you guys want to go to the mountains themselves.
I think we need to check with the rest of the party before we actually make a decision on whether or not we go with the Skara Aldin.
Probably a good move, considering we still have to talk to the Merchant Prince as well.
Yeah, there's a lot we need to do. Shit. I don't think I can go on this deployment. I don't have enough time.
Oh.
My apologies, Company Commander. I accidentally overbooked myself and will not be able to attend with this particular engagement. I apologize for wasting your time.
It's no matter. And then he just removes all of the paperweights and then hands the scroll back to his lieutenant. If you happen to find yourselves out there on your investigations, we wouldn't mind the extra set of hands. But, like I said, we're only the first detachment. Commander Harlow will be sending out his detachment as well in the next coming days.
Understood. I will join that retinue if I'm able. However, we do have prior obligations to our Merchant Prince that we need to meet.
Absolutely.
Can I ask something?
Certainly.
While they're talking, can I memorize the captain's scent?
Interesting. Yeah, I guess you could. I'll tell you what. Roll a survival.
Okay. That's a 19.
Which is more than enough. So you subtly, like as you guys are like talking and walking around, you try to like suss out his particular musk, I guess. And yeah, I would say you would catalog it as a scent you can remember.
Okay. And then that would be.
Just put it in your notes.
I know. What's his name?
Company Commander Kano. Kano.
Okay.
He's directly from Mortal Kombat.
I didn't mean to when I was naming him, but then I remembered that Kano was a real person, and I'm like, oh, well, I have that now.
That's okay.
In fact, when I was making all the company commanders, I realized like a lot of these names are names of people that I pulled from somewhere, and I go, well, I'm already here. No point in stopping now. So,
Oh well.
oh well, I'm here.
All right, I have that note.
Wonderful. All right.
That was some good thinking, by the way.
Yeah.
And he goes, all right. Well then, without further ado, I must attend to my deployment. And then he walks over and returns to his standing position, making sure that all of the Skada Aldin are ready for the deployment in the next, I'd say about 25 minutes, because that only took about 5 minutes of his time.
Safe deployment, Commander. We'll see you some other time.
And he just gives you a quarter-inch nod, and then you see his lieutenant like give you a proper Skada Aldin salute before you guys depart.
I return the salute, and then we've got shit to do.
All right,
Yep.
so what do you guys do first?
You need to grab a note from your squad mates.
From my squad mates?
Remember, it's on your desk.
Oh, right. I hadn't gone to check my desk yet.
Nope.
So that's next on my agenda is go check my desk.
Okay. So you guys make your way back up the flight of stairs, up to the third floor where the sixth company sits. As you walk through, you see all the members of the sixth company. They look over, and then it kind of goes dead quiet for a moment, and then they all stand up, and then they give you a salute, and then some will give you a salute, but others will be clapping, like the quiet like welcome back, Captain. You know, like they're doing that motion for you.
Yeah.
And they're just like, good to have you back, Captain. It's like, good to see you still alive, Feather Fowl. Like they're congratulating you on making it back alive. Like they're happy to see you.
I mean, it's not like I went to a death world, but I was gone for months.
Yeah, you were gone for
I
some
mean,
time.
the Feywilds.
On the one hand, that's fair, but on the other hand, we killed a Jabberwock together.
That's fair. But yeah, no, but they don't know that.
That's true.
But they're all just happy to see a member of their own back from such a long mission.
Yeah.
So
I'll return salutes and kind of just nod to folks because Squarb does not have the energy to deal with the whole captain thing right this second.
Yeah. And then one of the officers are just like, good to see you alive, Featherfowl. Your office is over there, just on the left.
Thank you.
It looks familiar. It looks like the old CO's office, with like that like glass with like that glass containment, but just off in a corner. And you notice that there's just this one large table, but you notice that there are two smaller tables that have been jammed together and forming this weird little like trinity of tables in the center of your office.
Fascinating.
And then as you step inside, you realize that they have both Minaj and Persephone's nameplates on the smaller tables.
Lovely.
You see that Persephone's desk is, for the most part, as she had left it once before. It's still kind of a mess. There's bits of snacks here and there, but she has like little paperwork on there. But for the most part, it's actually more clean post destruction than it was the last time you saw it. You see Minaj's table has got stacks and stacks and stacks of paper, but they're all in the filed like the filed box. Like these are like it's like a good 2 feet of paper.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all in the box that says filed. And then you notice that then the box that's unfiled is bare. And then you notice that on your desk there is no paperwork save for a small package and 2 letters.
Cool. I will check out the letters first.
Cool. So you have 2 letters. One of them is you recognize both forms of handwriting. One of them is written by Persephone, and then the other one is written by Minaj. Which one do you want to read first?
Let's go with Persephone first.
Okay. As you unfurl the twine on the letter, and you pull out this single sheet of paper, it reads as follows: "Hey, boss. Hope you're doing all right. we haven't been able to sit down and chat since the whole base got blown to shit. Not that I blame us. We've all been kept busy trying to figure out where the Order of the Desert Wind calls home. The number of hours I've logged just doing patrols with Minaj is enough to make a weaker flyer weep. Not to mention, we've been focusing on rebuilding the Blasvatan base and bolstering our numbers. Turns out our merchant prince doesn't really like our city being torn apart. She made a huge
Who'd have
deal
thought?
about the safety of Blasvatan and even personally funded the restoration and improvement of the base. Lee became the official commander of the 6th Company, seeing as our old CEO has been missing since the incident. No idea what happened to her. I've got some ideas, but it's not my place to talk. Gotta admit, I'm happy the base is getting some much needed renovations, but some of them aren't exactly what I expected. Oh, the mess hall is the best part, though. We've got some specialist chefs so they can cook with just about anything. That's going to be real handy when we deploy for long campaigns. So when you get a chance, make sure you get a meal in you before you head out doing whatever it is you're doing. I bet you won't be disappointed. Oh, and don't worry about the paperwork. Minaj has been taking care of it, weirdo that he is. I think he actually likes doing it despite his protests. You know how he gets jittery if he's not busy with something. Be sure to read his letter too. He's probably going to give you a report or something, but he's been working on it since you left, so definitely take your time to read it. Oh, right before I forget, congrats on the promotion. I know it's not official, but I always knew you were captain material. Oh yeah, we heard you were doing something for the Merchant Prince as well. Moving up in the world, eh? Guest drinks are on you next time you're in town. Look, I know we're going to be busy for a bit longer, so I don't expect us to see each other for a while. So next time you see me, you better treat me to something good. I won't take no for an answer. Anyways, I ain't exactly good at writing letters. I'll see you out there, Cap. Your wingmate, Persephone, Sunhawk Rider of the Scott Aldine 6th Company.
Good enough at writing letters. All right, and what does Minaj have to say?
As you unfurl the letter, you notice that he also took the extra time to put a wax seal on, because Minaj.
Yep.
He writes, good tidings, Captain. I mean you will be Captain by the time you read this letter, I hope. I hope you are doing well. You've been maintaining your physical health, yes? Eating well? Staying hydrated? You haven't been diving headfirst into anything too dangerous, yes? You always did have a habit of throwing yourself into the fire without a second thought for your own safety. An admirable
Still do.
trait, but one that I have always had to help temper. Doubly so with Persephone's personality adding fuel to the proverbial fire. Still, given what we've been doing as of late, I somewhat miss our patrols. Who knew that keeping both of my wingmates from flying off the handle would be something I missed, eh? I'm certain you found the base has been modified since you were here last. Certainly, our defenses have been improved to the point where we shouldn't have to worry about any external forces now. Well, one can never be too careful, however, and I've submitted suggestions to our new company commander, Commander Lee, about how we can improve our defenses further. But I digress. This is something I can talk about when we meet next face-to-face. Allow me to update you on our current goings-on here with the Blasvatan base. Outside of the structural improvements, many of our agents have been promoted to either fill in slots or in recognition of their achievements, your case being the latter. Congratulations are in order. The Merchant Prince herself made the recommendation. You must have really impressed them. As I noted
That's what they say.
As I noted before, our new commander is Lee. This was an inevitable outcome, seeing as our previous CO, Sitara Maivon, has been missing since the incident. We have a small task force looking into the matter, but there has been no updates over the past couple of months. The 6th Company has increased patrols as of late. Persephone and I have been out at least twice the normal amount of patrols. I suspect the Merchant Prince wants to ensure that we don't become lax in our duty. As mysterious as our prince is, she takes the safety of her city very seriously. I am proud to serve under her in this instance. As part of our patrols, we've also been tasked with looking for any signs of the Order of the Desert Wind. I regret to inform you our searches have been fruitless as of late. It seems they are more elusive than we first thought. We have also received an anonymous tip to beware of a cult that has recently become active, the cult of Golion. I didn't think there was anyone who still worshipped the god of desolation. I'm scared to think of what they have in store. The package attached to it is my research notes on the cult, among other things. I hope this proves useful to you, should you encounter them in your travels. There's this long gap between this page and then the next page. That's when you then you read the next page. Squab. I will not beat around the bush. I fear there's a lot more going on here than we anticipate. I know I'm in no position to push things upon you. But if things take a turn for the worse, or you feel lost and confused, I want you to follow these instructions to the letter. Do not deviate from these instructions for any reason. And then there are 4 bullets. In order. Within the package, there's a key in the shape of a scale. Make sure this key is secure at all times. You will need to travel to the first city, Thebsar. Once you have made it into the city, seek out a woman named Azida. She typically hangs out near the Temple of the 12 or the Desert Selkie Inn. Once you've made contact with Azida, follow her instructions. She will be able to help you and yours further. I know this sounds weird coming from me to ask you to trust someone you don't know, but please trust Azida. If all things go as I predict, then our next meeting will be in Thebsar. Your wingmate, Manoj, Sunhawk Rider of the Skara Aldin 6th Company.
What kind of super spy bullshit are you into, Scorb?
Oh, no, that's just Manoj. He's very, very good at finding things.
I see.
You don't spend years as a beat cop for nothing.
Hmm.
I have no idea who this is he's directing us to, but Manoj isn't the kind to trust somebody for no reason. No, if he trusts me, if he trusts her, I think that we can too.
Mhm.
I think we probably need to go catch up with the rest of our friends
Yeah.
and
My
update
list
them
gets
on.
longer.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that the package has exactly what Manoj said is in it.
Yeah, it's a small package, maybe no bigger than like, I would say it's like a small deck box.
Yeah.
Like the best way to describe it, it's like a deck box. And when you unfurl it, you unfurl the twine and then you open it up. And yeah, sure enough, there's a key in the shape of a scale, and by that I mean like a merchant's scale, you know.
Yeah.
And it has a bit of thread tied in the loophole where you can use to like tie around your neck like a necklace. And then on it is a small little slip of paper that reads, "Please secure at all cost." And then underneath that is tightly bound notes, and the cover page reads research notes. It's just the cover page.
Probably read those as we're walking.
Yep.
Okay.
I've got you as my seeing eye friend after all.
You could have said dog. It would have been
It
fitting.
would have been fitting. It would have been funny.
Well, yeah, but it would have been rude.
I would have laughed.
Well, yeah, but that's just not how Squarb is.
We all would have laughed.
Like, he's got a crude sense of humor, but he's not going to be a dick to somebody who's helped him.
I'm like, you can do gallows humor, but you can't do that, really.
There's just a way that things are done, and that's not it.
At any rate,
We'll work on that.
what will you two be doing moving forward?
It sounds like we need to check in with our friends first.
Okay. So you make your way out of the Skara Aldin, and you begin your search for your friends. It's at this point we're going to take our break. We've just at about the 1 hour mark. I will be back as soon as I can. Like I said, I just got to take care of something real fast, and then I will come back. Okay?
Okay.
So in the meantime, everybody, if you need to use the bathroom, go ahead and do that. If you need to grab something to eat, get something to drink, you guys can go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this business.
All right.
Enjoy.
Alrighty, give me 1 second here.
The summer's on, and I've been living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. Been waiting all year to be here, to ride the wave of the water frontier. The ocean's warm and the tunes are chill. We'll stand here till we get our fill. We're working hard and we're playing hard too. We're gonna do what we gotta do. Time to go big or go home. And I ain't going home, 'cause summer's on. And I'll be living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. 'Cause summer's on. The ocean's underneath my feet. And if the sun is out, I'll ride the waves all day. Everything we've ever wanted's right here. Don't wanna blink just to fight the fear that our time will pass way too fast. And I'll be dreaming of the beach another year. We're gonna have the time of our lives, days and nights with the sun in our eyes, and a wild tide under bluest skies, tearing up the shoreline. 'Cause summer's on, and I'll be living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. 'Cause summer's on, the ocean's underneath my feet, and if the sun is out, I'll ride the waves all day. We're gonna ride summer's on, and I'll be living on the beach. The summer's on, and I'll be living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. 'Cause summer's on, the ocean's underneath my feet, and if the sun is out, I'll ride the waves all day. The summer's on, and I've been living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. Been waiting all year to be here, to ride the wave of the water frontier. The ocean's warm and the tunes are chill. We'll stand here till we get our fill. We're working hard and we're playing hard too. We're gonna do what we gotta do. Time to go big or go home. And I ain't going home, 'cause summer's on. And I'll be living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. 'Cause summer's on. The ocean's underneath my feet. And if the sun is out, I'll ride the waves all day. Everything we've ever wanted's right here. Don't wanna blink just to fight the fear that our time will pass way too fast. And I'll be dreaming of the beach another year. We're gonna have the time of our lives. Days and nights with the sun in our eyes. And a wild tide under bluest skies, tearing up the shoreline. 'Cause summer's on, and I'll be living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. 'Cause summer's on. The ocean's underneath my feet. And if the sun is out, I'll ride the waves all day. We're gonna ride The summer's on, and I'll be living on the beach. The summer's on, and I'll be living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. 'Cause summer's on, the ocean's underneath my feet. And if the sun is out, I'll ride the waves all day. summer's on, and I've been living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. Been waiting all year to be here, to ride the wave of the water frontier. The ocean's warm and the tunes are chill. We'll stand here till we get our fill. We're working hard and we're playing hard too. We're gonna do what we gotta do. Time to go big or go home. And I ain't going home, 'cause summer's on, and I'll be living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. 'Cause summer's on, the ocean's underneath my feet. And if the sun is out, I'll ride the waves all day. Everything we've ever wanted's right here. Don't wanna blink just to fight the fear that our time will pass way too fast. And I'll be dreaming of the beach another year. We're gonna have the time of our lives. Days and nights with the sun in our eyes. And a wild tide under bluest skies, tearing up the shoreline. 'Cause summer's on, and I'll be living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. 'Cause summer's on, the ocean's underneath my feet. And if the sun is out, I'll ride the waves all day. We're gonna ride summer's on, and I'll be living on the beach. The summer's on, and I'll be living on the beach. Left my shoes and all my troubles far away. 'Cause summer's on, the ocean's underneath my feet. And if the sun is out, I'll ride the waves all day.
Hey, we're back. Sorry that took way longer than I expected. Traffic was hell. In the meantime, though, I have a routine that I have to do. Let's see, this is for Wisp. Let me see here. Where am I? Go away, me. Hello, new me. I'm gonna let this last for.
Yo.
We're gonna let this last for 30 minutes due to the fact that I was gone. Let me get my timer out here. So
Lumi, are you here?
Yeah, I was just listening in on y'all conversation while
Alright,
drawing.
so- yeah, so apologize for that. Man, I did not realize it was 102 out today.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, it's a warm one today, even here.
Yeah, I was not.
It's 68 here.
The weather has been hell recently.
Yeah, hell across all platforms, but it's all right. We're still in it. Okay, so you guys, where we last left off. Well, first off, is everybody ready to go? Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right, double check. Just wanted to make sure. Alrighty. So where you guys have left off, you guys were you discovered that there's a small detachment being deployed by the Skada Aldine in lieu of some knowledge of learning that the Order of the Desert Wind may have been located. But with all the things that have been going on for you guys, regretfully, you find yourselves unable to join this initial deployment of soldiers to go out and assist in this endeavor. But you guys made your way back. Millennia and Scorb, you made your way to Scorb's new office in the 6th Company's wing, where you found 2 letters written by your 2 wingmates, Persephone and Minaj, and a package left by Minaj for you in case things go as he predicts.
Mhm.
And then you both decided that it was time that you met up with your friends and come up with a plan.
Yep.
And so you guys left Escada Aldine, and you are now searching for your friends. Speaking of, Violet and Visper, what are you 2 doing?
We're bringing this stuff back. Where?
I mean-
Didn't Etna and Kassar say they had like a place for you, or Etna did?
Yes, Etna did give you guys did give Ember and Violet and Visper lodgings.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's where we can drop all this stuff off.
Yeah. It's kind of heavy.
Are we
How-
able to make it in one trip?
Yeah, how much food did you buy again?
It was
Let
enough
me
for a
check
month.
my notes.
Yeah, it was enough for a whole month for the poor guy. So
And each week
Yeah.
took 30 pounds of food, I think we calculated.
goodness gracious.
So 120 pounds? Jesus.
Yep.
Oof. I don't think Violet can carry that much.
Well, divvied amongst 3 people.
Divvied amongst 3 people. I mean, technically, I can also cast Flock of Familiars to get some more hands if we need it.
Just an army of ants just picking up all the food.
That is what I was thinking.
Oh my god.
You hear in unison dee 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 dee.
Delightful.
Just thousands upon thousands of ants. But yeah, so you guys, I assume you are making your way back to Nielo's Nook then, because that's where your residence is.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So that way I don't have to do a whole ping pong competition between 2 groups. I'm going to say that you both meet at Nielo's Nook as your go-to meeting place at this point.
Yeah.
So you guys make your way. So Violet and Visper, you arrive at Visper's very humble room where she is now taken up residence. It's a very simple room. There's a bed, there's a nightstand, there's a desk, and then she has a nice little window that allows her to peer out into the city streets. But beyond that, it's a very simple room, but it is hers. So
Don't
uh,
mind the countless petals on the ground.
yeah, there's also a bunch of random petals. Most of them are dried up because it's a desert. So yeah, so you guys just drop the food off in the room and sally forth.
Pretty much.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, so you just drop the food off. Luckily, because it's dried meats, you just hear a loud thud on the wood paneling or on the wood floor as you guys step out, where you see your compatriots Scorb and Millennia sitting at a table with drinks ready for everyone.
Oh,
Yep.
hello.
Hey.
How's investigations been going?
They've escalated.
A little bit.
Oh?
So the cops
Oh.
want you and the doctor dude's help to research a cure for the poison.
Whoa, okay.
That's one thing.
Right. I
Um,
mean, we can give them our research so far. I mean, I've sort of dropped out of that since the
yeah,
emergency ended.
we need to
Yeah.
figure out that. And then there's Scorb, help me out.
So, I don't. Do you recall when my department got blown up?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, that was done by a group by the name of the Desert Winds.
Right.
Yeah, those folks. We're pretty sure they're connected with the kidnappings and all of that jazz. Anyway,
Yes.
so while we've been gone, the Skara Odin have been trying really hard to find those assholes, and they
Okay.
think they have.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're sending out a scouting squad to make sure, and then they're all gearing up, it looks like.
They're going full on military with this, and that's,
Yeah.
as I've come to learn repeatedly, that's not the way to go. It's not going to work.
Yeah. I mean, if they're sending a scouting party right now, that
That's one thing.
will be
But
yeah.
once that party returns, they're going to go full military and send a huge contingent of Skara Odin soldiers to where they think the group is, and
Right.
try to fuck them up. But
If we need to, I can track the company commander who's leading everything. So
we probably do want at least to have that as an option. Yeah, no. This is bad. We've probably got until that scouting party gets back to try and maybe do something that doesn't cause the cult of Golion to escalate, and I feel like screwing with the Desert Winds is a great way to get the cult to escalate.
so we need to meet with the Merchant Prince still.
Yep.
And then Scorb has some secret spy bullshit that's going on.
Sort of.
I don't know how else to classify it. You have a key that we don't know what it goes to.
I'm
It
gonna
just-
look.
you're-
Squarb's gonna look around real quick and make sure that nobody's like actively listening to them.
Oh no, the whole floor is yours.
Cool. So
Unless you count Frank, the Coleopteryx bodyguard that always sits at the top of the stairs.
love Frank. So Squarb looks over and just kind of makes sure that the room's clear. Leans in real close to the rest of the party. One of my wingmates has found somebody who he thinks can help us. She's associated with the, what was it? Not the Pantheon of 12 or whatever.
The Temple of the 12.
Shoot. Yes, thank you. She's associated with the Temple of the 12, and he seems to think that her services can be of use to us. He's also given me a package to keep secure until the next time I see him. Which, if he says, if things go as he thinks they will be in, what's the name of the town again? I'm sorry.
Thebsar. It's the first scare
Thebsar.
city.
Yes. He says that if things go the way he plans, then we'll end up seeing him again in Thebsar.
Ebsar.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a whole big thing right now.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right this second. Between you and I'm really not liking the way things are escalating with these people. And I just want to put a stop to this as soon as we can. I want to get Serena's heart back to her as soon as we can. So, I think we need to go meet with the Merchant Prince first.
I think that's our immediate course of action.
Oh,
But
Something
then-
we
we're
can
gonna
get
have to
off
dress up
the
again.
docket quickly.
Yeah. But then after that, I want to leave it to y'all. What do we do?
I don't know.
So what we learned too is that the place they're scouting, where the desert winds supposedly are, is next to the border of the mountains. Not like it's in the area, sort of.
We could probably look at it while we're on our way, if we go to recover Serena's heart first, and not have any meaningful detours happen. So we can at the very least see if what the Skaraudin think is true is true.
Right.
I don't know. Honestly, where I'm at right now is I just want to try and get Serena's heart first.
Agreed.
Anyone else have thoughts?
Um.
Oh, it seems
Nope.
like the best game plan we got.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
This
think this
merchant-
is.
Merchant Prince first, so we can just dump that information, then we can go.
Yeah.
Let's get to it then, I
Yeah.
think.
Do we have to dress up again?
Violet disguise selves into the same outfit
It's generally
that she
wise.
was in before.
It is generally wise to be in proper regalia when meeting with the Merchant Prince. However, I doubt she'll care, given the context of our meeting.
I'm not dressing up. I refuse.
I'm semi-dressed up.
I will
have-
dress. I will change my outfit because it's still kind of coated in like dried blood.
I have no intention of dressing of putting on my dress armor myself. I imagine we'll be fine. So, off to meet the Merchant Prince.
Woohoo!
Alrighty.
Ooh.
So nobody's dressing up, or some people are dressing up, or
Violet has her disguised self to be a fancy outfit, but she's not wearing anything
Okay.
different. So, the
mean,
true
I
sight
feel-
of the prince will see through it, but,
yes.
might as well.
Melly knows what she's about. She's just changing her outfit so it's not covered in blood.
That's fair.
I'm gonna grab some jewelry.
Yeah, Visper already looks fancy. It's fine.
Yeah, Visper wears a suit that Visper wears a dress that always makes her fancy and protects her. I think she's fine.
Yeah.
Then Scorb is, well, Scorb. So
Yeah, Squarb is not dressing up.
alrighty, so you four make your way out of Neela's Nook and back to the Royal Archives, where you make your way to the elevator. Well, technically it's not called an elevator, but it's definitely an elevator. It's magic elevator. The moving room that goes up and down. You guys
Matter translocator.
yeah, matter translocator, as it were. You guys make your way into the magic elevator, and the attendant recognizes you four specifically, and understands that you guys are here to make your report to the Merchant Prince. And easily enough, you guys are whisked up to the top floor, where you see that the interior of the office has changed dramatically since you guys were last here, where beforehand there was a plethora of people at desks filing papers, and there were a bunch of people running back and forth, and there's a lot of chitter chatter. Now, you see before you is this entire building, or this entire room has been remade, and what you see is just a long table, like an oval table, that sits two members of the Skada Audine's second division, the Black Cats, on opposite ends of the table, and you see the Merchant Prince. She stands at the window, looking over her city, with the sunlight beaming through to provide the silhouette. There's almost like dark silhouette, almost a mafia boss style silhouette. You see that the table has enough chairs for all who are attending this meeting, but there appears to be 4 more chairs than necessary. So there's 4 chairs for each of you, right? And there appear to
Right.
be 4 additional chairs along the edges of this oval table. And then
Interesting.
she turns around, and you see her as you remember her. She's this very like well-toned woman with dark skin and raven black hair. Although her hair is now much more is in a much more professional braid instead of how it was just cascading over her shoulders. She has it in a much more professional braid that sort of like a Princess Jasmine style, or just like hangs behind her, and then but you notice that she's in this sort of like half plate, but it's like leather, like this chest piece leather armor, and that she has a pair of twin scimitars hanging at her hips before she sits down, and she goes, "Welcome. Uh,
Hello.
Sorry for the new space. It's we're waiting for some more people, so I figured I'd make some space."
Mm.
But please,
While we're waiting, I've got to take a quick break. Actually, I got to stand up and bathroom.
Yeah, absolutely. But please sit down.
I will take a seat.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Me as well.
All right. So as all 4 of you sit down, do you sit like all along on one side or on opposite? Like you both like there's 2 people on one side, 2 people on the other side. Like how do you guys seat yourselves?
All on one side, I think.
Yeah, that's probably best.
Yeah.
And who would you say is closest to the Merchant Prince?
Squarb.
That's fucked up because he can't defend himself.
Yes, but also I think he would be the person. Like he's the main person who's talking to her, right? Like
we all agree, right? Like he's the
He
guy
would
that's
be a fine
talking.
diplomat.
I see. All right, then then in seating order from closest to furthest from the Merchant Prince, who would it be?
Probably Visper next.
Yeah.
I don't know if Violet or Millennia would be.
Who gets to sit at the back of the
Further.
bus?
Yeah.
You want to roll for it?
Fucking kidding me.
I guess so. Who gets there first?
Who gets to
Yeah.
Who gets to sit at the back of the bus?
Let's go.
Roll.
Just a straight D20.
Is a straight D20.
I got an 11.
All right, 50-50.
I got a 10.
Looks like it's then Violet, then Millennia gets the back of the back seat. That's funny. That's so good. Oh my goodness. I just imagine like you two are just like sitting there waiting, and then like once you see that Scorb and Visper have sat down, you look at the last 2 seats on your side, and then you just look at each other. Match you for it? Yeah, sure. And then you just silently just go 1, 2, 3, and you just like rock paper scissors, and then and then Millennia pulls out scissors while Violet pulls out paper, and then you just hear Violet just go shit, and then Melania, oh right.
Yeah,
That's exactly how it went.
yeah, basically.
Some time passes, and everybody's been given tall glasses of water, so that way everybody just stays hydrated. Also, stay hydrated. But everybody's given tall glasses of water, and then there are like various pitchers of water that are placed throughout the table. It's like 3 pitchers of water, one on each end of the table and one in the center of the table. So now everybody can grab more water if they need to. And then with time, you see the doors swing open from the elevator once more, and 4 more individuals step out. If anybody, well, so funnily enough, realistically, only Scorb and Violet would roll for this.
Oh.
Okay.
But I will say, so here's what I'll do. I'll have Millennia and Visper. If you would like, you can roll Insight. When Scorb gets back, and then Violet, you can roll either History or Insight.
My insight is slightly better. So that's a natural 20 for 22 insight.
Good to
Dang.
note.
I got a 17 insight.
I got a 16.
You have a plus 40 or Insight?
Which one of us?
Visper.
Yeah.
Why are you not okay?
I return.
Oh, good. So as soon as they have volunteered you to sit closest to the merchant prince. So it would be like the merchant prince at the head of the table. Then it would be a member of the Black Cats, the second company, and then there's you, and then it goes Violet, and then it goes Visper, Violet, Millennia on one side of the table.
Okay then.
And then just before you came back, you guys have each been given tall glasses of water to keep yourselves hydrated, and there are pitchers of water on the table to refill your cups as needed. But just before you came back, I did mention that 4 individuals had stepped out of the elevator and are now making their way out. I will say, and I gave everybody the option, if they would like to, Millennia and Visper specifically, because they aren't native to this country, they can roll an Insight, where you and Violet can roll either a History or an Insight.
Okay.
And everybody has
let
rolled
me-
Insight thus far.
Let me double check which one's better for me. It is still insight.
Nobody is like an intelligence person in our group.
Nope.
Yeah. And is that just a flat roll or with advantage?
In this instance, I would say for Scorb, it would definitely be with advantage in this instance.
Okay.
For Violet, I would say if you wanted to, you could use your memories of a past life for this.
I mean, I got a nat
but you
20.
got a nat 20, so it's like, you know. So what is your roll, Scorb?
My roll was 19.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to start with the 2 non-natives of Albuquerque. So you rolled a 17 and a 16 respectively, Millennia and Visper. So immediately the air in this room becomes stiff. As these 4 individuals who are clad in various forms of armor step over and begin to make their way towards the other side of the table. One of them is decked out in heavy set armor, but you can tell that they are accustomed to wearing this heavy armor, and that they are not encumbered by the heat of the desert as they step through. They take their seat directly across from Visper. So the second seat, so the third seat from the from the merchant prince. Then you see this very lithe, very like thin looking character. They sit right next to the Black Cat member at the very front, so she would take the second seat. So that one would be directly across from Scorb. She seems to be lightly dressed, but she kind of looks like a hold on, my OBS is now breaking.
That's okay.
Uh-oh.
We're
We can
gonna-
It
wait.
looks fine on my end.
Well, it just like went 0, and I go what, and then it went back to normal. So I think we're fine now.
Okay.
So this is my live up to date notification of we are fucked. No, but you see this like this very she looks like overly like well dressed. Like she's wearing like these fine silks that kind of flow over her very thin frame, and she has these gold earrings that glisten just very faintly in the sunlight. But the most distinguishing feature is that she's got very feline features about her. She looks human, but there are just some feline features, like her eyes are a little bit more narrow. Her there are bits of her hair sort of stick up ever so slightly, and like the way she walks is a bit more like she sort of like walks with a sort of seductive swing of her hips before she sits down. Sitting across from Violet, you see this very young gentleman who wears these very thick robes. He's got a monocle that seems to want to drop off his eye, but it is held up by this small little bridge on his nose that like lets it sit there, and then and then there's a chain that dangles over and around his ear, and it just sort of it sort of frames his rather round face. He has this bedraggled brown hair, and he carries with him a very large book, about maybe like the size of like a dictionary or maybe a thesaurus. It's a pretty hefty book, and then he sets it down with a thud, before he sits down across from you. And then finally, the last person to step in is another what you assume to be a gentleman. Their face is obscured by this mask that they wear, but the way they but like the shape of their body denotes male, by the way they walk and by the way they present themselves before they sit down. The most distinguishing feature about this individual, besides their face being masked, is the numerous scars that go all over their arms, both of their arms. And with your insight, I would say that you would all recognize that some of these scars are recent, like maybe within the past week. But you understand. So for Millennia and for Visper, you would understand that these people are of some great importance, but you can't pin down why they're important, other than they just look important.
Finally, Millie's like, "Fuck! I should have dressed up."
Now for Scorb and Violet, you would recognize most of these individuals. So to the woman who sits directly across from Scorb, the very seductive woman, you have never met her, but you know of her. This is a how do I say this in the nicest way possible?
Courtesan?
She is one of the Bordello madams. That resides here in Blasvatan. You know her as Madame Nadine. And she is important because she keeps a lot of the, I guess, riskier businesses in check. Is the best way to put it. Across from Visper, the heavily armored individual, Scorb, you would recognize this as the company commander of the 5th Skara Aldine Heavy Armaments Division, aka the Steel Beetles. These are to put things into perspective, these are the quote-unquote SWAT team members of the Skara Aldine. That's what the 5th company basically is. They're the SWAT, and this is Company Commander Pavarti. And then so next you have the the very like young, scholarly-looking individual who sits right across from Violet. Um, you would recognize this person, Violet, specifically.
Oh.
This is a member of the Necromancer's Circle. Uh, this is
Ah.
yes. This is Necromancer Farim. Farim's one of the newer necromancers who just took over for a master who had died recently.
Oh. Okay.
But you haven't had the opportunity to deal with him, but you just know that he exists.
Right.
And the reason why I say you would recognize him specifically is because he does bear the symbol of the necromantic order, which shows so the necromancy circle's symbol changes every like 100 years or so according to
Right.
Ras Alfarad. So this millennium's what's it called symbol is, oh well, that's my time, so I'm gonna go back to being not wizard. Grah. I need to find a faster way to do that without popping in and out like that. This millennium's symbol is the symbol of a skull with a scarab coming out of its open jaw. And the reason why that's significant is, as you know, the scarab is referred to as a symbol of rebirth and reincarnation in Abu Kanasta. So it's on theme. It is on theme. And then finally, this very large male presenting individual who's masked with these scars across their arms. This is probably the only person out of everyone who is not immediately recognizable. But you may know them by reputation. This is known as Wolfe, Wolfe. And they are one of the mercenary leaders that came from the fourth city, Ninren, which is the city of mercenaries.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
But yeah, so if anybody needs me to spell out their names or anything like that, I can give you the guys that as well before we continue on.
I'm personally okay.
I mean, yeah, it would be nice to have them in chat
Yeah, sure.
or in our Discord.
Yeah, give me a second here. So, in order, you have Madame Nadine. Next, so you have Madame Nadine of the Red Light District of Blasphatan. Next, you have Company Commander Pavardi. Of the Skara Aldin 5th Company. Then you have Necromancer Farim. Of the Necromantic Circle of Blasphatan. And then finally, you have Wolfe of the mercenary leader. There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah. Benefits of online D&D. I could just send notes like that on the fly. Yeah, so without further ado, they all take their seats. They all look over to you. Commander Pavarti notices you specifically, Scorb, and then he presents to you a Skara Aldin salute, even though while seated, and then he returns his attention back to the Merchant Prince.
Obviously, return it.
Mm-hmm. Then you see and you immediately see Madame Nadine. She kind of looks over the girls in particular, and then she kind of gives you like a sly smirk. Um, and then she turns her attention back to the Merchant Prince. Necromancer Fareem, he fixes his monocle before he looks over, and then he gives he gives Violet a knowing nod.
Mhm.
And then finally, Wolf kind of just has their arms crossed, and just kind of just stares out and looks over to the Merchant Prince. As everybody is seated, she goes, "All right, well, with everybody here, we can begin the meeting."
We
First,
certainly
Yeah.
have some high company, my prince.
yes, well, we live in interesting times now, and I would like to get the opinions of everybody here at the table. But first things first, allow me to introduce my wonderful guests here on my right, and then I will just go out of my way and not beat the bush or not beat the dead horse. You guys know the order of who the people I just introduced are, but she does introduce them in order. Madame Nadine of the Red Light District here in Blasvatan, Fifth Company Commander of the Skara Audin, Company Commander Pavardi, the Necromancer Fareem of the Necromantic Circle of Blasvatan, and Wolf, a mercenary leader from the Scarab city of Ninren, at the very end. And then she goes, and then for my prestigious guest, I bring you this very interesting group of adventurers who are working on my behalf. And then she motions for you four to introduce yourselves in the order of which you appear. So it would be Squarb, then Visper, Violet, then Millennia.
Okay. Squarb will stand for his introduction as is customary, and just offer a bow to the esteemed company, raise his head high, and say, "I am Squarb Featherfowl of the Skara Audin 6th Company. As you doubtless know, I am working with working for the Merchant Prince on her behalf in order to locate the source of the latest cataclysm, I suppose, that's about to hit us." He chuckles nervously and just kind of shrugs and says, "At the end of the day, I think we're all here for the same purpose, so I'm just going to go ahead and get out of my own way and pass it down."
Whisper.
All right. Hello, I'm Visper, uh, Princess of the Fey Court of Spring. And then I do a little bow.
I am Violet. I forget what Violet's title is in relation to Manas Al-Farad.
So
Thrall?
In relation to Manas Al-Farad, you would be the safest word would be his apprentice.
Apprentice?
Yes, that would be the safest choice of words, would be that you are his apprentice. You could also say, if you want to be cheeky, you would say that you are Manas Al-Farad's most recent project.
Yeah, I suppose most recent and most elaborate project. So yeah, I'm Violet, Necromancer Manas Al-Farad's apprentice.
And I am Millennia Amaranth, hired guard for this group, I suppose is my title.
And Merc.
It's a pretty
Yeah,
yeah,
Merc.
it's a pretty good catch-all. Yeah, you're a sellsword.
Yep.
Ally would also be an appropriate term.
Ally would also be the appropriate term.
Ally and guard. There we go.
You know, when we say it out loud, we are an eclectic group of individuals, aren't we? As our most
We really are.
as our most adventuring parties. Let's not like, let's not like dumb down, or let's not play down this, but like this is truly an odd group.
Yep.
Like, circumstances as they are, truly an odd group to be traveling together.
Right?
Um,
Yeah.
but with introductions out of the way, the merchant prince goes, and of course you know me. I am the merchant prince Abika, ruler of the city of Blasvatan. And do not worry about my two friends here. And she points to the two Black Cat members to either side of her. They are here simply to maintain. They're simply here to maintain notes and to make sure that all being said is truthful. With that in mind, if you, unless you guys choose to, you all will need to make a wisdom saving throw as a zone of truth is being projected into the room.
I personally
fail.
don't feel the need to do anything about that.
Yeah, I'll fail willingly.
Whisper.
Got a 17. But it
Alright.
was almost a 3.
Yeah, well, now I gotta figure out. Now I gotta read Zone of Truth again. It's been a while.
Technically, I don't know if this was a homebrew thing, but my old DM ruled it as the person casting Zone of Truth knows that you have, if you have willingly failed, tried to resist and failed, or tried to resist and succeeded.
Oh, also, it wasn't a wisdom save; it was a charisma save, which actually works in Visper's favor.
Oh, so you want me to reroll?
No,
Nah, just change the modifier.
you just changed the modifier.
I have no idea how to do that.
You know,
Uh,
just tell 'em-
it's-
okay,
it's
so
not like-
so whatever you rolled, right?
Mhm.
So whatever the d20 roll was, replace what your wisdom modifier is with the charisma one. So instead of
And
having
it's
it be
it's
like
not
plus
a
1 or
like
whatever,
thing you can do. It's just like
It's just we're fixing the math.
Yeah.
So instead of
Yeah.
a plus
Right.
1, it would instead be whatever your charisma saving throw modifier is, which I believe
Plus
sorcerers.
6.
Wow. Okay, so that's 22. Good to note. Deliberately sets on a failed. Okay, well, I mean, I guess for the sake of Visper being what she is, she can technically lie under oath.
he has diplomatic immunity. It's okay.
Yeah, like she
Yeah.
has Fey diplomatic immunity, which honestly checks out.
It really does.
But for the rest of you, you choose not to avoid this effects. You just let it happen. But just
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but just know that on every one of your turns, you do have the option if you wish to. You can make a charisma saving throw to avoid speaking the whole truth. You can just speak around the truth as per the spell's effect. You can be evasive in your answers if you save on the charisma saving throw. Okay. So with all that in mind, first off, a report, if you would, and then she points to her left, asking for you guys to make your report about your regarding the issues with the Feywild. How did your journey go?
So Squarb's going to paraphrase roughly about what happened in the Feywilds as he's already delivered to Lee.
Yes. I'm gonna be honest with you. Can you please paraphrase out loud?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was trying to avoid having to do the roleplay. I apologize.
No, you're good. This is more like a group thing, so if anybody wants to do the paraphrasing, they are more than welcome to do so. But me as the DM forgot how you paraphrased, so I request that you paraphrase your adventures once more for me.
No, I totally get you. Sorry about my being silly just now. Anywho, so sorry, Visper just posted a drawing in the
I
chat
noticed.
and it distracted me. Anywho, So Squarb will break down like the rough events that we went through in the Feywilds, reporting on their journey to the castle, reporting on the successful diplomatic mission between the Feywilds and ourselves, and present the mirror to the merchant prince.
Um, she does ask if you have documentation regarding the trade agreements and how they can best create a portal for the to allow them to produce trade or to commence trade.
I believe the documentation is currently in Visper's hands.
Ah, yes, it is. Let me just
Oh.
pull it out.
We do also have a gift from the king and queen, being the communication mirror, right?
That's what Score presented.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. I'm
No, you're good.
Ah, wonderful. So once Visper produces the documents and you hand over the mirror to the black cat that sits on your side of the table, they hand it over to Abika, the merchant prince, and then she kind of goes over the documentation, and she goes, "Wonderful. We'll have the court mages start setting up for the portal as soon as our meeting is done here." And then she sets the mirror on top of the paperwork like a paperweight at that point, and then she sets it off to the side.
Mm.
So then, a successful journey into the Feywild, and it seems as though that you guys were not gone for very long, it seems.
We were gone for long enough.
Indeed. So then, were there any complications we should be aware of when we're trying to commence trade?
Other than the time differential, none that I'm personally aware of.
I see. Well, we'll do our best to work around that. Now then, as I'm sure your group is well aware of, the cult of Golion has been making strides in their endeavors to bring about our destruction. I will not have that in my
Yes.
city. Have you had any dealings with them as of late?
You could say that.
Yes, we have.
Yes.
Please, enlighten us.
Upon our return from the Feywild, we were forced to make a pit stop at a thieves' respite, where we found a group of the cultists preparing to transport their some kidnapped Genasi children to the mountains in that area. I don't have a map with me right now, and I'm not sure if I could point to where we were anyway.
Oh,
Um,
hold on. And then, Company Commander Pravarti, you hear the shifting of his metal plate armor just pull up, and then he just lays down a map, and he goes, "This should
Oh.
suffice."
Scorb, do you know? I'm not very good with direction.
Do I?
You don't.
I think I should, but I'm
So-
not 100%.
To reiterate, you guys know the mountain range, right?
Yeah.
So the country of Abu Kanasta is separated from the rest of the continent through the mountain range known as the Dragon Spine Mountains.
Right.
Right.
You guys know where the mountain range is, but you don't know exactly where they're transporting the children within the mountains. You just know that they are in the mountains.
Right.
Right. Okay.
What Squarb and Millennia do know is that there is a canyon just east of the mountain range where the Skada Audin are attempting a military operation to see if their information related to the Order of the Desert Wind is located.
Right.
So you
Okay.
can technically point where your military operation is, and then you can point towards the mountains and say, "This is where we believe they are going to be, but this is where the operation is."
We would need to ask our informant where exactly we were at the time. We had more urgent business, such as an attack on a local tavern in the respite that resulted, or well, it was performed by the cult of Golion, um, and uh, they were employing a new type of poison. I'm sure you have heard reports of it at this point. That is causing people to explode under stress. There was an attack on a local tavern, which
Which I think
resulted
we own
in
now.
we. That's neither here nor there. What was I gonna say?
Madame Nadine takes great interest to the point that you now own a tavern in a thieves' respite. She leans slightly closer.
What was I gonna say? I'd a little bit more. Oh yeah, it resulted in many casualties, and we're currently working with, or our primary informant, at least, is currently working to find a cure. We've found a way to suppress the poison, but it is not fully gone.
I see. Should we be worried about them deploying this in the future, or?
Absolutely.
They, as far as we know, Air Genasi in particular are being made into bombs and being converted into their ideals.
I see. And then she kind of like looks over to her four other guests and goes, and what say you regarding this matter? I'm sure somebody has something to say about this. Farim the Necromancer stands up and goes, we may have some information regarding the poison. It seems that what they're speaking is the truth. Upon one's death, they will explode into viscera and spread the poison as if it was more like a virus than anything else. We are still trying to find the means to prevent such a tragedy, but as far as our circle is concerned, we can't do anything more unless we bring back a body that is infected and unexploded, I guess is the best way to put it.
I was going to say there's a whole cellar, but
You have a whole cellar of corpses?
I mean,
we needed a place to stash them.
Yeah, they're. We couldn't just
Please,
leave
just,
them around
like-
lying in the tavern. We had
Necromancer
kids to take
Farim-
care of.
Necromancer Farim takes great interest in the tavern now. This is like
Anyway.
this is like the Voice, but for how bad a crime scene can get. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, the roof is gone.
Oh yeah.
why is the roof missing? Says Madame Nadine.
Don't ask me.
Our
It wasn't my
sorcerer
decision.
Did a point blank fireball.
Company Commander Pravarti leans forward, hands steepled over his face. He is now interested in the battle that ensued at the tavern. Go on.
Oh yeah.
Does our
Suppose we
party
should
member
explain
want
that.
to take credit?
Well, we also should explain who we were fighting.
Oh my god, it's so interconnected.
It is.
It really is.
So
Everything that's gone wrong ever since we started everything is all connected back to where it was. Man, is all connected to the start. It all started with a stolen jar of spices.
Yep.
And here we are.
Hey, remember how
Which
I
we
wrote
still haven't retrieved.
Hey, remember how I wrote on our campaign what started off as a simple robbery has spiraled into a journey through the dunes and unraveling the secrets of the desert nation? Hey, that wasn't hyperbole.
No. So their former comrade touched a very cursed sword of Golion, became an avatar of Golion, and then ambushed. Well, ambushed us, quote unquote. They weren't quiet. So we fought them on the roof. Things exploded. We captured them. They're being held at the Skaldine base now. And the sword is in a vault as well. Safe.
Ideally under lock and key.
Yes. Ha!
What was that, Master? Did you call upon us?
My apologies, friends.
Your name is unfortunately a pretty common
Phrase.
phrase.
No matter. We shall be here when you need us.
And I'm glad for it.
So yeah. Oh, also, that person's core, because they're an Earth Genasi, is missing and suspected to be in the mountain range as well.
Fareem fixes his monocle. How long has their core been missing?
We're not sure.
Yeah, no way to tell.
And the body is still preserved?
Yes.
Body's still
the body's
alive.
still alive.
He opens his giant dictionary of a book and begins flipping through the pages. This is quite fascinating. Please, tell me more.
Our current theory is that the sword was keeping her alive while she didn't have a core. Or while she doesn't have a core.
Interesting. This goes against all modern theories. Let me see here. And he starts like motioning with his hands. He's motioning for a quill. One of the black cats quickly goes over and hands him an inkwell and quill, and he begins quickly writing down everything you're saying. Are they currently awake? Are they unconscious? What is the status of their corpse?
They're not dead. It's not a corpse.
I see. So, even with the core removed, they still live. I wish to examine this woman.
She's currently held she's currently in holding at the Skara headquarters.
He writes that down. I will make note to travel to the Skara headquarters here in Blasphatan.
There's also a cult member that we have tied up there too.
That's true.
See, cult member? I thought it was just the guy who was transporting the kids,
No.
right?
We let him go.
We
let him go,
that
right.
poor man go.
Right,
You
but we
the
kept a cult member.
cultist.
Yeah.
Right, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
You're
fine.
good.
The cultist is fucked. No. So that when you make mention of the cultist, you all notice with your passive perceptions, you all notice that Wolf shifts in their seat ever so slightly, but they still have their arms crossed as they're listening in on the whole conversation.
Can I get an insight check on that just to see if like it's
Just like a weird like Freudian body slip.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Squarb's just straight up going to look at Wolf and do you have something to add?
Yeah, let's first roll Millennia's insight.
Yeah.
13.
13. They clearly are uncomfortable with the notion of the cult of Golion being in the city. Like that's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of like like you get the shift of like they're trying to like straighten themselves up because it's just a weird like it just sounds wrong to them.
Yeah.
So they're clearly not comfortable with a cultist being in the city. When Squirb directly asks Wolf if they would like to add anything, they simply give a silent shake of their head no.
Understood.
All right, then. So, well, this has been a fascinating report thus far. Let's see, we have the Scutter team mobilizing their forces right now. Wait a minute, how do you know about our mobilization? As Bavardi is like looking over at the necromancer. The dead may be buried 6 feet under, but they can still hear and see all, my dear commander.
I was going to say, Commander, the mobilization hasn't exactly been silent.
Still, we just set out the orders today.
Oh, we came from there.
Who's leading the advanced forces?
Oh gosh,
Company
I've
Commander
already-
Kato.
Kato, yeah.
Kano, got it. He goes, So the Hellhound's leading the vanguard, huh? Well,
I'd like to say something right this second. I think it's very important that we do not engage with the Desert Winds. Not directly, at least. I have reason to believe that they are tied with the cult of Golion, and if engaged directly, I worry that they may resort to the same violence that Golion does.
we're not engaging them directly. We're actually just trying to confirm some information that we received.
Right. I understand that. There is a massive mobilization getting ready to occur once the scouting mission has returned.
I'll bring it up with the chain.
That's all I ask.
In the meantime, alright, Prince, what do you want us to do? We now have all the information that we can provide. Cult's on the move. We figured out we're hopefully getting confirmation on where the Order of the Desert Wind is. It doesn't seem like there's any other issues thus far. So why the hell'd you bring us here? She leans back into her chair, with her hands steepled. And then she goes, well, what I would like to have happen is for our little adventuring party here to continue investigating on our behalf. What I need from you for is a favor. And she leans over and she shifts her weight over to be like slightly leaning towards the 4 other guests. Company Commander Bavardi straightens up and he goes, well, I mean, you already have the Scotter Aldine under your control. What more do you want? Oh, no. I don't need the entirety of the Scotter Aldine. I simply need your cooperation with this small band of adventurers. Provide them with the resources that they need in order to complete the task that I'm about to set for them. Would you be able to do that? Well, not me alone, but I mean, we could... I can send out a letter. We can at least get the other cities involved. I think involving the other merchant princes would be wise in this instance. Fine then, I'll leave that to you. As for you, Madame Nadine, I need you to send a letter to Thebsar. And what should the letter entail, my prince? Let it be known that we are hoping to get more information, and that we seek a particular person's aid. I'm sure you know who it is. Right away. And then she kind of, as soon as she says that, she kind of glances back and looks at all 4 of you. And, Violet, you recognize what she's doing. She's moving her hands in such a fashion where she is asking you through Thieves' Cant to meet her after the meeting.
Sorry, who was it?
Madame Nadine.
Right, okay. Got it.
Yeah, so she's just moving her hands ever so slightly, but you recognize the hand gestures as her asking you and your group to speak to her after the meeting.
I'll
Hell yeah!
confirm that I understand.
With that, she gives you a knowing, but seductive smile. Uh, uh, as for the necromantic circle of Blasphatan, he's still feverishly writing everything that he's got on his mind right now in this ginormous book of his. He seems preoccupied. And then you just see Wolf just like move his shoulder, like nudge his elbow into Fareem, and he goes, "What? Apologies." And he just closes the book. I get lost in my thoughts sometimes. Yes, my prince. How may the necromantic order help you? Look into this condition of their friend, and continue to investigate further about this poison, and see if you cannot reverse engineer and counteract its effects. Understood. We'll do everything in our power to ensure the safety of our citizens. As for you, Wolf, and then Wolf just turns to face her. As a mercenary leader, I request that you provide aid to our adventurers as well. Perhaps even provide them transport if necessary. Are you capable of doing that? A very curt but silent quarter-inch nod is given, and then the prince just simply claps her hands together, and she goes, "Wonderful. Well then, is there any other further information you would like to provide for me before we break?"
I think that was everything.
Not at this time, my prince.
Wonderful. Then in that case, what is the name of your merry little band of friends we have here?
Oh shit.
Name?
Well,
An investigative team.
hmm.
You know, we don't. We've been far too busy to.
Name ourselves, I suppose.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well then, my intrepid investigators, please stay here a moment longer while I provide you with some necessary documents. The rest of you may leave. And with that, all four of her guests stand up. They give her a gracious bow, and then they step outside, starting with Wolf and then ending over. But you get a Violet. You get a telepathic message. You can choose to accept this message, or you can choose to force the message out. What would you like to do?
I'll accept it.
You hear the still sort of like excuse me, the sort of like half panicky voice, and you recognize this voice to be Necromancer Fareem, and he goes, "I wish to speak with you when you have a moment of your time. I have a message from your master."
I'll message back. All right.
I shall wait for you in the archives then. And then he disappears. Commander Pavarti looks over to you, Squarb, once more, gives you another Skara Aldin salute, and then he slides the map over to you, and he goes, "Keep it. It'll prove useful for whatever the prince has got in store for you."
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so you guys can write down that you have a map of Abu Kanasta, like the entire country of Abu Kanasta.
Nice.
And then he makes his way out. And then finally, Madame Nadine, she, with her hips swaying to and fro, she gives you all a knowing glance before she makes her way out, and the doors close behind them.
That woman's not just swaying her hips, she is sashaying.
She does not tell lies. But with that, once they leave, you see that the once like jovial, cheerful nature of the prince suddenly changes, and her hands sort of drop down, and her smile sort of disappears, and then she goes, "Now on to the serious matters at hand."
You mean we weren't already discussing the serious matters at hand, my prince?
Those are the public matters, but this is more of a private thing that I must discuss with you.
Ah,
Now then, first things first. On behalf of Blasphatan, I appreciate you taking on this rather obtuse request to seek trade with the folks of the Feywild. And I thank you, Princess Vesper, for being so accommodating for such an endeavor.
No problem.
Now then, as I am wow, just saw the chat. Now then, if you wish to now then, you have every right to refuse this request. After all, I'm fully aware that there are many things that occupy your minds as of late. But if you wish to continue working under me and, in truth, getting to the bottom of this Goleon situation, then you will have the full support of Blasphatan at your backs.
What's the catch?
that we succeed, I imagine.
Just so. So what say you, my intrepid investigators? Will you continue working for the city of Blasphatan?
I have no intention of stopping my investigation now.
They go wherever they go.
Same.
Violet stays silent.
Very well. Then in that case. And then she, one of the, well, she motions to her black cats, and then they both sink into the shadows momentarily before they reappear within a few minutes, each with different documents that are scrolled up, and then they hand them off to each of you. Written on that scroll is a writ with my authority upon it. It'll allow you to safely go between all of the cities of Abu Kanasta, though I can only make certain of the Scarab cities. Any other cities beyond that is beyond my control, obviously.
Hmm.
Now then, is there any questions you have for me in relation to help you with your investigation?
I cannot seem to think of anything at the moment.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I got nothing.
We know what we need to do, and we know how we need to do it. I imagine all that we need to do now is, for lack of better phrasing, do the damn thing.
Well put, Mr. Featherfowl. Now then, before you all depart, I have another gift, and she produces a small box, and she slides the box over to you guys. Upon opening this box, you will note that there are a new set of earrings for each of you. So, with these earrings, these work effectively the same as your sending earrings that you currently wear, except they have the unique feature of being able to directly link up with her. This is more of a direct line sending spell to her. So if there's anything you need to report, you are to report directly to her.
Understood.
Fancy.
But otherwise, they function just the same. These also serve these also serve a much more they also serve the utility of, because we've been doing it this entire time, but these also serve with the utility of you can psychically send the message instead of having to verbalize the message like if it was a radio. Like
Mhm.
this is now like in its truest sense sending, but psychically. So you guys can
Nice.
actively come up with, you can have conversations with each other. The downside is that instead of it being like, oh, you can be as far away as possible, you can only be 1 mile apart from each other, excluding her. So if you are greater than 1 mile apart from each other, the rings will not, or the earrings will not work.
Okay, so we should probably have both pairs then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So this is so her earrings are for the direct line, but you guys will. But this is also a secure line, so that way you guys don't have to worry about like anybody trying to breach through your communications. But your old earrings have an unlimited range, but other people can intercept your frequencies or can intercept your
Gotcha.
communications.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will quickly notate that. I'm just gonna call it an Empress earring because that's like super easy for
That's
me.
exactly
so.
what it is. Yeah.
That out of here. Add item. This is a custom.
Yes, I need to do that too. Add custom item.
And then of course there's a
Sending
there's an earring
earring
for Ember as well. So when
prints.
she has the opportunity, she can add that to her inventory as well.
Uh,
How do you usually spell the merchant prince's name again?
Abika? Yeah, give me one second.
EBIKA?
Nope. Give me 1 second here. Her name is. I'll send it to you guys via the chat.
Okay.
Whoops, that's well. You can forget that, or you can forget the bodyguard part because I was pulling from a document. So, but it's hold on a second. Let me just Well, this is fun. Just change all of that. Don't know why I didn't get her name. Awesome. There it is.
Okay. So really close, but
Bye, Lumi.
bye, Lumi. That is actually probably pretty good timing for us to wrap.
Actually, this is where I was going to say we're going to call it.
Yeah.
we've
Um,
got 2 meetings at the start of the next session,
You do.
or at least
So
I
much
have
shit to
2.
do.
Well, we both have one, but yeah, party has one.
You have 2.
Violet has 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just make note of that for me, and then that is where we're going to call it for tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us for episode 33. We hope to see you all next week. If I recall correctly, though, I believe somebody said that they were going to be out of town next week.
Yeah, that's me. I'm gonna be heading back to my previous place that I called home to pick up some stuff for my job, and also my family wants to see me or something, so you know.
Okay. Well, we will coordinate to see if everybody else is okay for next week. So until then, if nothing else, I do have a backup plan for Sundays, as I always do. But that's going to be it from us. Thank you so much for joining us once again. If you guys would like to continue hanging out with me or hanging out with the rest of us, we are usually we can hang out on my Discord, which is right there. If you guys want to see all these wonderful people, here are their Twitch channels once they get back to the habit of it.
Yep.
Hey, I streamed last week. I did it.
There you go. There you go. Mafia at least is back on
And
the
I'm gonna try to do it again tonight. More
Wow.
Final Fantasy 14.
There you go. I actually just
I'm
the 14,
on-
so I gotta catch up.
I may
I'm-
start live streaming Minecraft again.
Minecraft is fun.
It's been about a year, and I have this cycle where I go through and I play Minecraft like hell for like a few months, and then I don't touch it for a year.
That sounds about
That
in
me
every
too.
game.
That's kind of just how Minecraft
It's
works.
just me in every game.
That's totally fair. No, Skyrim has been my recent obsession, and I don't even know why.
I saw that. I was like, "You're playing Skyrim? Interesting."
Oh,
Like,
I just started a new Skyrim save, actually.
Yeah, no, I've been getting back into Skyrim again, which for some reason is like actually fun now. I hated it when it first released, because like I went through the whole game, right? I got through the whole thing without needing to use a single ranged attack, and then you get to fighting Alduin, and I'm just like, I don't have the skill points to damage him with my bow, or with any ranged magic. All I've got is Dragon Rend, which doesn't even actually make him land. Like, what the hell do I do? And I spent 3 hours fighting Alduin.
Oh, ew.
yeah, it's a rough
Oh, yeah.
3 hours. Yeah, but
It's a rough fight if you don't have ranged attacks.
it's a rough fight if you like honestly like doing the pure melee like it's doable, but it's gonna be a rough one.
Yeah, my latest has.
current
Sorry,
build-
you first.
Sure. My current build is like conjuring a sword and then using lightning in my other hand.
Okay,
Hell yeah.
before we get too lost, I gotta end this. Thank
Oh,
again,
yeah.
once again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Those are
Bye.
my socials. Those are their socials. See you guys
I'm-
later.
I'm
Bye
gonna
for
try
now.
to stream Final Fantasy 14 in like an hour and a half.
Yeah, check out Mafia. We'll see you guys later. Bye.